Hey friends, Andy here, helping you build a career you love. Happy Thursday. It's sunny where I am. Hope the sun is shining on your career. Get in the chat, say hey. I know I've been kibitzing with a few of you here before the show started. Great to see you pile in. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're in any of my programs, let me know that too. If you've got my Zebra book, let me know that. If you're a leader or in my job search bootcamp, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. And I wanted to share something with you. These to me they're mechanics. They're things that I do day in and day out that make my career and my life, honestly, a joy. I'm not kidding. They really make life good. And so I'm going to share that with you. But get in, I want to say hey to all y'all before we get right into the talk. Andy, what's up? Cherry, my baby girl from Canada. Great to have you. TJ, working on becoming a favorite. That's all right, buddy. You keep coming to the show, you get to be a favorite. David, how are you? Steve Green is a favorite of mine. Amy M. If that's the Amy M, I think she's a favorite too. JY, Amanda, Frank, is it Deji, Brittany, Clem, Christine, and everybody else. Okay, today we're going to talk about some of my habits, 9 in particular that I think are contrarian, that make my life work, my career work, my job work, everything around me work. And I actually started jotting these things down in December of 2023. If you're here with me live, it's August 2024. This talk has been sitting in my content book, which is where I put some of my notes for shows and ideas and things like that, things that you share with me. But I wanted to share it with you today because we've got a lot of skill building stuff going on, and I've been helping people through my Zebra Code book release that just came out a few weeks ago. We've been talking a lot about building the right habits, productivity, building the right skills. That's what the Zebra Code book is all about, navigating your way through the maze of professional development. So I want to give you 9 tips. Like I always say, take what you like, leave the rest. I'm going to start out with number 1, which is something I've been talking about for months with the impending release of the Zebra Code, is we all have work that we do. Hopefully it's work that you enjoy. We have assignments, we have deliverables, we have meetings with people. I write content for you every week. I write emails for you every week. I distribute social media for you every week. I build training programs. I have webinars. I have this live show on Thursday. My recorded release is on Tuesday. Every week. But it might surprise you to know that in this book right here, which is my planner, that actually I put in everything that I do week in and week out. It's got all my appointments. It's got all my inventory of things that I'm going to be doing this week, this month. But before I plan my entire week, and anybody who goes to the Andy Productivity Training class knows this, I plan my skill building before I plan anything else. This is not selfish. Think about your paycheck. When you get your paycheck, if you want to save or invest that money, the best way to do that is to pay yourself first. Take some money out of your check, put it into your savings account or your investment accounts, leave it there and let it grow. You can use it later. But what do most people do? They take their check, they spend, and I'm not talking about buying groceries because you got to eat or pay the rent because we want you to do those things. Those are non-negotiables because we like the roof over your head, right? We want you and the kids to be warm. But if you want to build and you want your money to compound for you, it's good to take it first and then invest it, instead of what a lot of people do is they take their paycheck, they pay their bills, and then they go and they spend the money or maybe blow it on nonsense and then they try to save what's left over. That's what most of us do with our career. So I want to talk with you about how I do this. And I want to talk to you about it in a micro and a macro level because we don't always have the same scenarios in our lives. Some of you might be looking for jobs. I, at 2 points in my life, completely changed careers, which meant I had to do investments of a different kind. But right now, I operate the Mile Walk Academy. I run a business. I do a number of things every single week. Every single week, I do similar activities. I write you a newsletter. I do the show, as I mentioned. I have coaching sessions, about 10 a week. Some of those sessions that I'm going to be doing next week, I already know who's on Monday and what's on Tuesday and what's on Wednesday, and I have appointments. So I have things like that I know I've already pre-planned, and they're in an electronic calendar. But every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, basically when one week is ending and the other week is about to start, the first thing that I do is I take all of the appointments that I know I'm going to have, like coaching sessions. So if somebody's in a 3 o'clock slot on Monday, I write down in the booklet 3 o'clock on Monday. I know I'm going to meet with Susie, and Tommy's at 4:15, and somebody else is at 5:30 or whatever it might be. I get all that in there. I know I'm going to show up here on Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Time. That goes in the booklet. Lots of times on Friday, I have group coaching. That goes in the booklet. Then what I do before I plan anything else is I look to see what skills do I need to be working on next week, and where on my calendar I got 168 hours to work with is that going to go, right? It's not the 40 from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I get the whole calendar. I plan everything, all 7 days. So within those 168, where is my skill building time going to go? I know, as an example, for next week, there's a couple things I need to work on skill building wise on Monday because I got to do something on Tuesday. I want to use those skills. I've got another slot where I'm going to watch what I know is a 75-minute training session from one of my coaches. I know I'm going to do that. I need to figure out where that goes on the calendar, but I know I want to do that next week because there's some things he was teaching that I want to learn because I'm going to apply them in September. Something like that. So I always pay myself first. Now, that's the micro level. That's kind of the day in and day out. But I want you to think about, I went through a massive change in 2015. And I'm going to give you an analogy from my life, but you could think about this for your life. Some of you I know are job searching, right? A lot of people that come to my Thursday shows are looking for a new job. And so you might be in transition. You might be thinking like, well, dear Coach Andy, I got to work on my job search. Awesome. But if you're going to go through an experience, I want you to gain the benefits of the experience, and I want you to take advantage of this unique situation because it's not going to be perpetual, although I know some of you think it's going to be, but it won't be. It'll be over before you know it. And I want you to make sure that you're taking advantage of every minute that you are awake. And so in 2015, I was full capacity operating my executive search firm, MileWalk Inc. It's a business-to-business executive search firm. We would find people for job assignments that our clients engaged us. But in 2015, in July, I knew that I wanted to build or an arm or augment the MileWalk Inc. organization to add the MileWalk Academy to offer business to consumer services to individuals to help coach them in their job searches and in their career development. Except I was going to have to do this basically outside of my normal work hours. I was going to have to start building aspects of the business. And one of the things that I did was I started to shoot videos. I implemented a podcast, other things to augment my ability to not only provide the MileWalk services, but also let the world know that I was going to be offering these additional services in the way of helping individuals. But I spent an entire year working on building a platform that helped me engage a community. So there were all of these other skills I needed to build. And what I did was I had to figure out outside of my normal work hours, before work, lunch, after work, weekends, or whenever it was, so that I could start doing things like learning how to communicate through the lens, through the camera. What was that going to take? This requires certain levels of skills to be able to do things and teach things and concentrate and all these other things. So I would be practicing. But I knew I had to plan that time. Otherwise, I was never going to be able to build the business. So in this case, a lot of the time I was investing was in practicing of building a new business where I actually was building a new business, but I was also building the skills, and I had to plan that on a macro level because if I wasn't able to do that, my new venture was not going to be able to take off. That was investment in myself. Some of you are going through job searches right now. Is this not an awesome time to be working on what? your networking skills, your communication skills, your email copywriting skills, aka cover letters, which are really nothing more than emails that you're sending to people, and all of these other things that you might not use a ton of. But everybody could be better at networking. It's going to help your career. Everybody could be better at writing and communicating and storytelling and all of these other skills that you could be building right now. So, are you actually thinking of whatever it is you're doing, whether you're working full-time and you're trying to reach that promotion, or you have a goal, or you're job searching, or whatever your situation might be? Pay you first. That's number one. Okay. Number two and three, I believe 2 and 3, we're going to talk about problems. 2 and 3 are going to talk about problems. So first thing is, what's the first thing most people do when they encounter a problem? Just go in the chat, let me know so I can grab another swing of coffee and shoot the coffee in my veins. What's the first thing that people do? And while I know we're on a delay, and Kara, say hello to me in the Slack so I know we're all in the right channel and you and I are on the right frequency. What's the first thing people do when they encounter a problem? What's the natural thing to do? Work on it or ignore it. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Assess, complain. Oh my God, the best laid plans. That's funny. Thank you for the chuckle. But what's the first thing they do? Right? They try to solve it, don't they? Something broke. Let's fix it. Worry or get stressed. Okay, wait, these are all good. These are all good. Push it down the road. Some people do that. Catastrophize. Go procrastinate. Start worrying. Solve it. Gus, that's what I mean. They try to solve it. I don't try to solve my problems. Not unless they were problems I introduced on purpose because they were a challenge. But in that case, I'm not even classifying them as a problem. I'm really talking about things that break. When something breaks or when something doesn't go, something that we're doing over again, meaning a second time, that doesn't go as well as we thought it would, right? I could run a workshop and it didn't go over as well as the previous workshop. That's a problem. What went wrong? That's what I'm talking about. I never try to solve the problem first. I always don't try to solve the problem. I go backwards first. Usually, not always, but usually, let's call it over 90% of the time, when something doesn't perform at the level we thought it should for something we had experienced doing or something broke, it is usually a function of you got away from your routines. You got away from doing things mechanically the way you usually do them, or maybe you are degrading and getting fast and loose. Who's guilty? Show of hands. Do you know what I'm saying? When somebody is going in a funk, in an extreme funk, heaven forbid you have an addiction of some kind, you don't tell somebody to just quit. Right? That's not how it's going to work for them. You need to bring them back to what was it like when you were sober. Forgive the analogy, but go with the analogy, right? Let's go back to when life was working. What were you doing that you got away from? So basically, check to make sure everything is in order. Did we go through the mechanics? Did we follow all the steps? Did we skip any steps? Did we half-bake any steps that we really shouldn't have? And I will tell you that much of your problem's solution will be found here. I'm not talking about I'm trying something new for the very first time. No, you're trying something new for the very first time. That's a new challenge. You're trying to attain a new level. That's not a problem, my friend. That's you growing. I'm talking about when stuff breaks, okay? When was life actually working? What was I doing? When was I happiest? All those of you in my job search coaching program that have access to the job search bootcamp program, what do I tell you to do in the first stage? Build your requirements. What's one of the little hints I give you to do that? What is it that I want? What's the figurative environment that I thrive in? When were you happiest? Start writing that down. What were the character traits, the environment traits of why you were happy? You're so miserable now, it's easy to point to what you don't like. But can we go back to when you were happy, and can we replicate that? That's what I'm talking about here, folks. This applies to job searching too. That's problem item number 1. So that's number 2. And then this one. Life doesn't have problems. You do. You do. So all the worriers, all the catastrophizers, all that stuff. So how do we get out of this? Well, I want to draw your attention to something that I notice from all the people that I coach, the people that I've recruited, the people that I coach, the people in my group coaching, the people that are in my one-on-one coaching. And I want to give you some numbers here. I coach about 500 people a year in, year out. That's 10 a week. I see these people. I can tell you the most successful people in the world, the ones that are able to ignore all this noise, have 3 things in common. They have a framework upon which they approach life. And this is my way of saying they have an approach. They have a strategy. They have a playbook. They know what the steps are that they're going to take. Or at least they make a list, they try it out, and then they approach it. And if they need to make adjustments, that's fine. And you know why they can make those adjustments? Because of the second thing. That's framing. Don't worry, I actually didn't misspell that, but I was trying to stay with the frame theme here. But framing is the way you tell a story to somebody so that you tell it in a manner so that they can see what it is that you want them to see. Framing works for yourself as well. It's the story you tell yourself about what's going to happen. I tell myself, no matter what goal I take on, as long as I plan it and work it, I will be successful. If you give yourself enough time, you'll be successful. There is no way I won't, because when I look back in my life, I've always been successful. It's not been linear, like slope of 1, but I've been able to accomplish everything that I've wanted to as long as I've given myself enough time and stuck with it. Well, I constantly feed myself the story that I will succeed. Everything will be fine. I have faith it will work out. It doesn't matter how many people come to the show. Whoever needs to come to the show and hear what I need to say on that day or watch the recording will find it. I'm not going to agonize over search engine optimization or what my YouTube thumbnails look like. Okay, so it's the story you tell yourself. And then the third thing is this is what gets you in the planning and in motion. This is what keeps you moving along the way and having faith that you're going to be able to figure it out. And this frame of mind is your state at any moment in time of how you look at what you're doing at any moment in time right now. There's absolutely nothing I can be doing but teaching you. And the benefit of this talk doesn't even occur at this moment. Right? All that's happening now, or sounds are coming out of my mouth, you're taking it in, and then you're going to go do something with it, or you'll pass it along to somebody else who'll do something with it. All the benefit happens after. I have faith. My frame of mind says, and my attitude says, that this will work out the exact way it should, because it always does. And so I know that whatever I'm doing at any moment in time has value. It might not have value at the moment. In fact, it rarely does. What do I tell you about when you're doing something? You focus on the shout. When you look for the value, you focus on the echo, because the value is always in the ripple. So everybody who encounters any kind of problems, if they have these 3 things in order, they're able to overcome anything. This is how I approach any problem I encounter. Okay, so it's really, really important. And I've told you this only about a bajillion times. Your success in life will have a lot more to do with where you place your attention than your ability. If you make sure that you're focusing on the right stuff, everything will work out. Okay, let's talk about 4, 5, and 6 coming up here. This is going to be about feedback. And I have a question for you. I would love for you in the chat, for you to let me know right now. Here's my question. How have I positively influenced your life? Try to do it in a couple words or 3 words. Make it as short as you'd like. Give me a word or 2 or 3 on how I've influenced or helped you in your life. Let me know right now, real quick. These 10-second delays always crack me up. So how have I influenced your life? Michelle Lee, I love it. Frameworks. David, focused planning, attention, action. Feed the funnel. Hang on, let's pull these up. I love it. Wait, and I love that you guys have your pictures. That helps me remember you. All right, wait. Andy, frame of mind equal focus. Maybe that was from before. David, focus, planning, attention, and action. I love it. Michelle Lee, what's happening? Frameworks. Baby girl, feed the funnel. A job search. Got me thinking and focused. Anar. Oh, now you're coming in. Okay. Anar, where were you? I found my last job because of you. Awesome. Interview, intervention, and storytelling. Tom Phillips. Belit, redirection. TJ, new job hunting techniques. Getting priorities aligned. Frank, I love that. Deb, you know I love you. Always positive encouragement. Christine, confidence. Broke through the mental blocks. Tracy. All right, wait. By the way, I am going to pour through these when I get to watch the replay. But let me give you this point, and I know this is probably I think this is going to raise some eyebrows. I only ask for positive feedback. I only ask for positive feedback. What do a lot of companies ingrain in you? You want feedback for stuff you stink at, right? How can I get better? How can I get better? What am I not doing well? What are 3 areas that I need to improve on? And why do I only ask for positive feedback? Not because I'm narcissistic, because, and I know some of you found me 10 minutes ago, 22 minutes ago, and some of you have been following me for 22 months, and some of you have been following me a lot longer than that. And any of you that actually know me, I can look you straight in the baby blues with a straight face and say, you probably know, because I've shared with you my evaluation techniques, I am brutal on myself. I am a huge, huge critic of myself. I go through great lengths to watch myself, critique myself, look at my products, improve my products. I am insane about getting better. I am. So how can it be that only asking for positive feedback and not asking your customers, what can I do to improve? Why would that be an effective way to go through life? I'm going to give you 2 reasons. Number 1, many of you, if not all of you, most of your life are going to be more successful on the things you do well. Double down, triple down, quintuple down, lay the pedal down. Just keep doing that. And that's what'll make you great. That's one thing, but that's not the only thing. Because if you never look to improve the things that actually matter, so improvements that you actually need to make, and don't get better at them, you're never going to reach the stratosphere you want. So how do I actually get better? I get better a couple ways. So the feedback that I'm looking for is not from somebody else, but it's from the evaluation of what I do. So I'll watch this show over when we're done. Not today, I go right into a bunch of coaching calls, so my day is totally stacked. But tomorrow night or over the weekend or early next week, I will watch the show multiple times. I will look at whether I delivered the messages properly. Did I say everything as fast as I could? Did I use the right analogies? Was I engaged with the chat? Was it emotional for them so that it registered, so that it inspired them? Was I empathetic? I look at all of these things. There's a whole damn checklist of stuff I got to evaluate, and it takes me multiple iterations to do that. Okay, well, Andy, what about sending out surveys to your customers to see what they want you to do to improve? We used to do that. We tried that. The problem with that is people tell you what they want, but their behavior doesn't match. So I need something to be the highest point of priority. So what do? We obsess over the numbers. Who opened the email? Did that message resonate? Did they like that? Are they telling us they like that? Is there bugs? Are they going to tell us that they need them fixed? We look at all that, but I'm watching data. I'm watching what you do, not what you say. Because a lot of times when you're soliciting feedback from people, they're not giving it to you straight, so that neuters it. But more importantly, just because they think it doesn't mean it's the most important thing for me to be doing. And I'm a business owner, so I need to look in aggregate. There's over 100,000 customers in the Mile Walk Academy. Those are people who pay for stuff. So I have to look at this in aggregate. And if I start running surveys, it's the squeaky wheels who tend to fill them out. It's really true, because the people that are happy are just happy and living their own lives. So you have to watch and balance all this. Who's following what I'm saying here? Right? I know you get evaluations at work. Are they helping? Are you actually getting the construct or the constructive feedback that you need? And then if you're getting it, are you actually getting the instruction to improve? Is somebody taking care of that with you? Not for you, because you're not going to outsource your career. So this is how I improve. I want to know what I'm doing well, and then I evaluate everything to adjust what I'm not doing well. Okay, so that might surprise you. And then number 5, along the same lines. By the way, I wrote this card because I didn't want to say something like, don't listen to people who have not attained the goals that you want to attain, right? And I don't like using the words better than you, because everybody has their own measure of success. But whatever advice you get, I need you to run it through a filter, your filter, of what truly are they saying? Why are they saying it? Why do they think it? Because then you can calibrate what of that advice you want to channel into what it is you want to do about it. So this is really important. I don't take a lot of advice. Again, I rely on number one, if you're not going to take advice, you got to be super, super comfortable with making a ton of mistakes, which I am, meaning I make a lot of mistakes and I'm comfortable with it, because failure is the first step to success. So I could have taken advice from somebody who might have helped me sidestep a landmine. You know what? I needed to learn it. I won't forget it. I learned it on my own, and now I'm better for it. So I don't spend a lot of time taking a lot of advice. I just take the lumps and then fix stuff. You could get a counselor, a mentor, a coach like me. I can save you a lot of landmines and sidestep that and streamline your job search. But I'm not talking about, Andy, how can I improve my job? I'm talking about like advice, like you forever advice. Okay, I give you situational advice. So make sure you understand the difference here. All right, so that's number 5. And then number 6, I think this is contrarian because I don't think people do it. Again, I praise myself daily. Okay, this is not, please take this in the right context. What do most people do? They beat the crap out of themselves, right? They yell at themselves. They scream at themselves. They talk to themselves like they would never talk to a friend. They beat themselves up. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And what's one step better than not doing that? Going the other way. I had a session, what day was it last week? This one stood out on me. I love this. I love this woman. She's in Singapore. So I was like super early my day, like after dinner time, her day. And we were talking, and she has a great job, and I was coaching her. Maybe she's watching this on a replay because she's got to be sleeping. Nats, this goes out to you. So she wanted my counsel and my advice she was stepping into a chief level position, and she has a good job, but this is an opportunity to take a step up. And I think she was a little worried whether she had the experience to do this. So she wanted my help in what this would take, how I would go about it, how I would plan the job, meaning how would I reorganize, like plan the job, the responsibilities, and then reorganize the team, and then the recruitment plan to hire the team. This was our session. So, I could see her like in the things I was saying, it was like boom, 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 boom. And I can see her like just the smile in her face, like, oh God, I needed to know that. No, I wouldn't have done that. Okay, that's really great. That's really gold. And she's writing and writing and writing, and I'm loving this. And I reminded her a few times that, hey, we're recording this, so don't worry about it. And we're transcribing it and all that. But when I got done, I took some notes on her packet, and like, that was a good freaking session. Good job. That was kind of what I said to myself, because I want to reinforce that it matters. What I do matters. And so you need to remind yourself, because a lot of times people aren't going to remind. I know that if you're here with me, you like the counsel. Well, most of you anyway. And you're going to go off and you're going to do something good with it. I have faith that that is happening. Even if you don't email me back and say, Andy, this changed my life. Andy, I got the new job. Andy, I got the $50,000 pay raise or the $5,000 pay raise or just a better job or whatever. I know it's happening. And I got to remind myself that it's happening because of the good things that I'm doing each day. I never beat myself up. I don't. I really don't. All right. Are you liking this so far? If you are, would you give me a little love on the little YouTube like thing? I'm not above asking. I'm not above asking. Okay, 7, 8, and 9. This goes out to any of you that sell stuff, market stuff, are business owners, or are getting performance reviews when they say you need to improve. Never defend. Never defend yourself. Never defend. I'll say it again. Don't be defensive. Ask. Ask. You know why asking works? I'll give you a little example. So somebody says, well, geez, Andy, your job search coaching program is a lot of money. It's $1,000 or whatever we charge these days. That's just too expensive. And what would most people do? Well, yeah, but it's got this, this, and this. And I spent hundreds of thousands of hours putting all that together for you, and I'm going to save you time. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's defending. Instead of, when you're engaging with someone, that's your first reaction normally because you want to explain because you don't think they understand. When the fact of the matter is that when somebody asks me, well, it's $1,000 and it's expensive, that statement in and of itself is true. It is, because it's going to cost them $1,000 at moment zero in time, and they're not going to have any results at all. So it's a cost, but it's an investment. So a better way to go through life is to work with the person, whoever this is, ask them the questions to let them figure it out on their own, and feel as though you're collaborating with them to help them draw a conclusion that hopefully, right, benefits them. So if somebody says, well, geez, Andy, that's a lot of money. I hope you drop it when inflation goes down, as if the $1,000 is because of inflation and not the value. So my immediate reaction wouldn't be to defend the product and show you all the results, although I will refer you there. It sounds like you're comparing this to something. What would you be comparing it to? Well, this other coach over here, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What's another way we can look at this? How much money do you earn? What are you making in a week that you're not making because you're out of a job? Would it be worth it to you that's a question, to find your job faster, to have some help from somebody who knows what they're doing? Right. And so as you walk them through the process in the line of questioning, you're getting them to better understand the scenario. And then in my mind, what I keep saying to myself is, what information do they need to make a great decision? This works when you're given a status report to your boss, you're pitching to the board, or whatever. If you're trying to defend your recommendation, why would I do that? What matters to you? Do you want happy customers? Do you want to open up new markets? Do you want, well, what would that be worth to you? Okay, well, here's what it takes, is a much better and much more effective way to go. So defense is the last thing I would ever think of to do. But this is what most people do. This is what most people do. Okay, to protect myself, my life, everything that I do, and most importantly, my stress level, and my wife will attest to this, and not in a bad way, I say no to everything first. Everything that comes at me is an automatic no. Automatically. It has to work its way into a yes. Why? Well, number one, there's a lot of noise and other people's problems are not my problems, and other people's bad planning is not my problem, and other people's fires are not my problem. Don't get me wrong. I want to help you. I'm talking about everything that comes at me, because to go from a no to a yes is cool. To go from a yes to a no is bad, right? To agree to something and then retract. And you will be more stressed out by the things you say yes to than the things you say no to. Everything from the innocuous or the fun, hey, Uncle Andy, will you watch the kids on Saturday night? Next Saturday, we want to go out for a date. Yeah, that sounds like fun. When Saturday rolls around, like, why'd I agree to that? I'm tired, right? I haven't had a rest all week. I'm like, so it could be anything. It's the same kind of thing with customers. It's the same kind of thing with crazy new projects. They have to work their way into a yes. But how many people are so strung out because you have so many obligations to go to places you don't even want to go? I assure you, if you have a dinner date with the LaCivitas, that's a big deal. Meaning we only go out with people we like. I'm not going out with people I'm not going out for obligatory purposes. I have rare few minutes of my personal time. I'm going to spend it with people I like. That's just an example. Same goes for my work. Every day, every week, I get requests to be on podcasts or whatever, or write this, or go do private webinars or whatever. 99% of them I say no to, because I have to protect what's most important. And then we'll work it into a yes. It's true. All right. Last one. This might be my favorite. It just worked out that it was last. I never mix, so there's no inertia in my life. And I'm going to tell you what I mean. So the other day I said something, I think it might have been at the book club, at the Zebra Code book club, which you all should be in, by the way, if you're not, because it's free to join. And I said to somebody, I think this was the book club, but this is a good example. So the reason I'm able to get so much done in any given hour is because I don't mix what I'm doing. So what might that be? Well, if I'm going to write an email, like I'm going to write you your Tuesday digest or your Thursday digest, or I'm going to write you an email about joining the Zebra Book Club or whatever it is, I don't think about what I want to say and then do it in the same sitting, ever. The thinking part is done. The doing part is done separately, so that I have no inertia, because if I'm thinking and doing, I'm thinking, then doing, then rethinking, then redoing. And this is why you don't get the damn email written in 20 minutes. So everything that I do, every morning, I spend a couple of minutes to 20 minutes, not usually longer than 20, but no less than usually 5, brainstorming that myself, because we don't brainstorm in groups, I brainstorm by myself of ideas of different things I want to do for the business. I call it my excellence planning. There's 5 questions I ask myself. I've talked about this in other videos. That's not the point. The point is I come up with ideas. That's it. I don't work the idea. I don't figure out how. I don't want to worry about figuring out how. The goal is, how many damn ideas can I come up with in 10 minutes, 20 minutes related to these 5 areas? And I just brainstorm. Then when I want to work the solution, that gets done at another time. What really happens, if it's a brainstorm idea, it has to go through a planning process. That's an activity. And a doing process. That's an activity. So I never mix the thinking and the doing, the brainstorming and the execution, the evaluation or whatever. And it's everything. So my books are over there. I have a journal that I journal in each morning. Sometimes 1 minute, sometimes 10 minutes, but every morning I journal. I got to write something down because I want to be grateful at a minimum. I don't care if I write the same thing 50 days in a row. I want to go to it because I want to write positive thoughts, and only positive thoughts go into this thick journal. And I just keep turning it every day, and I keep writing. And then I have a worry book. The only negative thoughts go in the worry book. The reason only negative thoughts go in the worry book is because to condition yourself not to worry, if you write down what you're worrying about, make the note, today is whatever. I worried that the so-and-so wasn't going to come on time, whatever it is. Anything you worry about, anything that upsets you. and you write it down in the book. And then what's going to happen? One of three things is going to happen. It's not going to happen, meaning they were on time. It didn't even happen and you're worried. Oh my God. All right. They were late, but it wasn't so bad. It's usually not. Or it could have even been worse than what you ever expected. But mark my words, if you actually create a worry book and start writing these things in whenever you have a worry, you will laugh at yourself at how infrequently those things actually come to fruition. So my journals are separated. I even have a separate journal to track habits of mine. And I got away from tracking them because I was so dialed in. And then with the onset of this book project and everything else that went along with the zebra code, things got so harried, I started to get away from the great routines. Pull myself back, going back to one of these early ones, right? Hey, what's the issue? Right? You got away from some things you do. All right? So these are 9 things that I do that I wanted to share with you. Just to recap them really quickly, plan your skills first. Your skill building time. Pay yourself first. Don't try to solve the problem. If it actually something breaks, go back. Did I get away from anything that was working? Go back and figure out what was working, why it was working before. Don't try to solve it. Life doesn't have problems, you do. Have an approach, right? Have a good story that you tell yourself and have the right frame of mind at any moment in time. Only ask for positive feedback. Make sure you don't take advice from anybody who isn't where you want to be. A lot of people give advice. It's usually because they're bitter. Praise yourself daily. Never defend. Ask first, especially if somebody is being critical of you. Say no to everything. First, you can work your way into a yes and never mix. That creates inertia. Okay, if you're here with me live, we're going to the chat. If you're watching this on the recording, I'll see you next week. Hope you enjoyed that. I got a few announcements for you. Let's see. Number 1, we got a leadership coaching program tomorrow session. I have a leadership coaching program. I'm going to spend less than 60 seconds showing you the page. But the one thing that I want you to know is tomorrow at 11 o'clock Central Daylight Time, I'm talking with members of my leadership coaching program. It's a monthly subscription, or you can get in on an annual basis. It's fairly inexpensive and high value, where I talk about my latest strategies and techniques for building a rewarding career and leading a fulfilled life. It's everything about career development and life development. Tomorrow, we're talking about how your skills and the application of them affect your compensation. Like, how does the world actually value particular skill types and the application thereof? I'm going to take you inside the 3 aspects of business, of companies, and then how the zebra code, my little zebra code methodology, it's all wrapped in here and it's wrapped in the leadership coaching program. There are different tiers of skill building. Different skills at different levels allow you to do certain things throughout your white collar profession. I'm going to show you the relationship of that to compensation, role types, compensation types. That's tomorrow at 11 o'clock. If you are a member of my Zebra Code Book Club, meaning you bought a book to read, an ebook, an audiobook, or the hardcover, which I'm particularly fond of. You just have to have a book to read. If you order the book and head over to the Zebra Code Book Club page, you're going to get a taste of my leadership coaching style and sessions, because I have $1,000 worth of bonuses in the Zebra Book Club, and it's free to join, and all you need to do is order the book and then sign up on the sign up page. Kara can drop the Zebra Code Book Club page here. Now, the reason I mention that is because I have a promotion right now that if you are a member of my Zebra Code Book Club, meaning you took the time to be nice and support Coach Andy and buy the Zebra Code book, I will give you $50 off the annual pass of my leadership coaching program. If you want to know what the details are of the leadership coaching program, there's this page. I believe Kara has pinned it in the chat. And, sorry, not that page. That's the product. But basically, you can go in here, and these are the kind of things I'm teaching on. So coming up the rest of this year, tomorrow I'm talking about skill building and compensation. On September 20th, I'm talking about the employee's year-end playbook. I love this talk. I'm going to tell you everything I need you to create for your promotions, your reviews, positioning yourself for the end of the year and the following year. We're going to talk in October about negotiating higher pay. We've got performance reviews, preparing for and conducting them, meaning as an employee on November 8th. And then we're doing our annual reflection exercise in December. So that's what's coming up for members of the program. You can check out the details. Yes, it's all about achieving more in your career. So a lot of you know me for job searching. I have a job searching curriculum. I'll tell you about that in a minute, but this is separate. This is all about building your career. So we talk about lifestyle and wellness, organ productivity, success and high performance. Communication is probably the largest topic area that we cover because it's so critical. Developing relationships, building teams, promoting culture, those kinds of things. You can get a taste for the overall structure and the Zebra Code methodology. If you download the roadmap and the assessment, you can take a free assessment to see how you stack up. But it's really cool that you could check out some bonuses. There's hundreds of dollars worth of bonuses when you join, depending on what plan you're on. It's really, really nice. And you can see that we're meeting tomorrow, and that's the topic we're talking about. It's literally less than $1 a day. It's actually like 60 cents a day if you're a Zebra Code member on the annual plan. So if you got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that. I love this program. We meet every 4 weeks. People in the program get the access to the replays, and they get access to the entire leadership library, which has 80 some odd singular lessons in it already on everything you can imagine from what I just shared, as well as those training courses on goal setting, productivity, and career acceleration. So that's that. Now, the only other messages that I want to mention to you that I want you to be aware of. Next week, we have the birthday week. Okay, so on Tuesday, I take another trip around a you-know-what. And all week, I'm putting everything in the Mile Walk Academy, with the exception of the leadership coaching, because it's already so cheap, on special. So everything is going to come down, meaning in price. Starting on Monday. If you want the birthday prices before Monday, just email us at support@milewalk.com and tell Kara what you want, and she'll tell you what it costs. But we have birthday specials all week. On Thursday, meaning next Thursday, a week from today, I'm doing a live resume writing workshop. It is a crash course in writing a resume in an hour. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it together. I'm plucking out highlights from my full-blown 30 some odd hour resume writing workshop. I'm going to teach you how to write the resume. That's on Thursday. That's free. On Friday, I'm meeting with members of my job search coaching program. That's my job searching curriculum. Those are people in the signature job search coaching program, which is Andy's universe of everything that you could ever imagine, and even the stuff you couldn't, to find your dream job and position yourself to thrive in it. That's on Friday. We're meeting privately on Zoom. That's Friday, August 30th. I'm meeting privately on Zoom with members of that program. I call them boot campers because the main product inside the job search coaching universe is the job search boot camp. So those are all the announcements that I wanted to give you. I cannot thank you enough for the 1,000 or so of you that are in this book club, and the few dozen of you who've gone out and put reviews out on Amazon and Goodreads and places like that. I love reading them. I'm so thrilled that this book is truly, truly touching your lives and helping you. And the other thing is, for those of you, listen, I didn't forget my firstborn. This interview intervention book, I give away. I'll send it to you anywhere in the world for $7 US. I'll send you this $30 hardbound. I'll give you the ebook and the audiobook. And just because I have number 4 is my shiny new toy, and you have to get this through the retailers, right now at least. It's like the LaCivita house. You know, I'm the firstborn, and I'm the one that made my mother a mother. And it's like when my brother came along, he was number 4, it wasn't like I was still not mom's favorite. So this one is always going to be near and dear to my heart because this book made me an author, a published author. So grab it. It is like the most budget-friendly job search aid you will ever find. For a mere $7 US. You can have that. Now, this price varies when you get it on Amazon. I think the hardbound right now is going for $27, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It really is. And anybody who's read it, let everybody know. Okay. All right. 11:50. I am like right on time because I said I'm going to get that talk done and then I'm going to make all my announcements and it's going to be 11:50. That's just the way I roll. I'm so fortunate. All right. Hope you guys are having fun. Let's get to some questions. Okay, Anar, please elaborate on the part of improving what we do wrong. If we are focusing on the positive, I am not understanding how we can fix what's wrong. Your state of mind, meaning focusing on the positive, whether it's what you're grateful for in your life or whether you're grateful for with your project or your issue, is completely independent of you altering the state of the problem. One is a state of mind. The other is going to require work to fix it. So when you say if we're focusing on being a positive, having a positive frame of mind is not magically going to fix your problem. So if I'm positive about my workshop, let's say I run a webinar. And let's say I run a resume webinar. I run a resume webinar. I'm just making this stuff up for illustrative purposes about the separation of what you just highlighted. I can go into the resume workshop and say, I'm super positive. My attitude is great. I love that I'm getting to help people. Let's say I did it a year ago and 100 people ended up buying my workshop. Great. I'm going to do it again. Let's say I go in, I'm super positive. I'm so grateful that people come to the show. I give them the workshop. I try to sell them the workshop and 50 people buy it. That's a problem. What went wrong? Why did only half buy it? I was still positive. I'm still cheery. My outlook is I delivered a great workshop, but that didn't fix the fact that only half the number of people purchased it as did last time. So now I need to figure out, was the marketing effective? Was the engagement effective? Was I clear on how to enroll? Did I give them good discounts or did I give them good bonuses? These two things are independent. They both need to be handled. So I'm wondering if that was what your question is, but those are separate. Tracy, I was removed from a project as the project leader at a client's request. Didn't I answer? I answered this. I answered this a month ago. I asked for reasons or areas to improve, but was told it was general melees. How do I learn from this? So now there's two schools of thought here. Okay? It's two schools of thought. Let me tell you what I would do, and this is dead serious, and I'm not making a joke. If I, Andy, Tracy, let's take you out of the equation so there's no emotion involved. I, in the last year, have coached like 500 people. There was one person I had an awful, awful time with. One awful one, 499 awesome ones. If it was general melees or this person was having a bad life or we just didn't get along, why would I lose any sleep over that one person when I have 499 victories to lean on? So first thing is context. That's the first thing. If that's the case, I'm not even thinking about it, not losing 1 second of sleep. That's one scenario. Next scenario, Tracy, or I'm Andy. Geez, I just had 10 bad coaching sessions this week. It's systemic. I'm the common denominator. Okay, now I'm looking for what the hey? How did I get so bad so fast? Or what seems to be the common theme? So now general melees is not good feedback because there's nothing specific that you can point to. So I now have to go into what did I say? You got to evaluate your data. So you got to look at, so you're the project leader. You've been a project leader perhaps on other projects. Look at those. How did those go? What was common about that? Was there something unique about this particular client, or are they just a train wreck? Maybe they're disorganized. Maybe they don't have their stuff together. Maybe it's the environment and they're just looking for somebody to blame. I can't tell you what conclusion to draw, but this is how I would go through the process. What's my data? Tell me. That's how I look at it. Hope that helped. Anar, can you give an example, please? I gave examples of never defend when I actually gave that. So maybe you asked that question before I gave the example. Pamela Green, what's up? How to navigate not taking on someone else's problem, saying no when you are new and making an efforts to fit in, and overall ingratiate yourself to your coworkers. Okay, so I am all about helping them think it through. You know, Pamela, when you come to me with a coaching session, I don't tell you what to do. That's a last resort. And I don't do it for you. That's really a last resort. So what am I trying to do with you? I'm trying to help you understand the structure, to think it through, process it out, and figure it out on your own. It's the same kind of thing. Instead of taking on someone else's problem, my first inclination would be, do you need my help thinking it through? Not doing it for, thinking it through. That's the way I would ingratiate myself. It's still they're still accountable, maybe, and responsible, I'm assuming, for the production of whatever it is. And then there's other things where, hey, sometimes problems come up and you just need to chip in, and that's cool too. I'm talking about in general, in your life, what are the patterns? So I did a coaching session last night with a woman, and this happens a lot, and I'm guessing it happens a lot to you all. And without going into all the specifics, she was saying to me, but Andy, what about when this happens? I need to prepare for this. Okay? I need to prepare for this. And what happens if I get into a situation and it's somebody who blah, 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 and this is their behavior, and this is what they think, and they're not going to hire me because. And I said to her, how many times does that happen to you? She says, well, I think it's often. So then I start picking at what the often-ness and I start to go through these scenarios with her to help her understand that she is taking a scene or a situation and magnifying it and trying to let the exception drive her behavior and her preparation. Like, that's random and rare. And then she's drawing conclusions with the limited data that she has that she thinks it's more common than it is. So I have to explain to her that it's not. And so what we have a tendency to do is magnify the exception. If I got all hell bent out of shape because that one person of 500 was having a bad life, and I'm altering what I do that then starts to affect the 499 people, that's bad. If the same goes for when you're trying to chip in. I want to get you to a spot where you know how to do this on your own. That's the best thing I can do for you. And so don't let something that's random. So if you happen to be in a situation where, yeah, there's a problem and you want to go chip in, that's cool. All right, go do that. But I'm talking about, is this your norm? And much of the time it isn't. So that's how I think about that. Let's see, Ian. I'm trying to put a story together and trying to find the words, interview story, trying to find the words to explain the dramatic disparity in skill level between members of a team I lead. What's a good word? Because first off, I'm not even sure what your question is. What's the point in conveying the disparate levels of the team members? Are you trying to illustrate your ability to manage a range of people? I'm not sure what you're actually asking me here. So if they're asking you about your leadership style or your management style or how do you handle a large team, I'm not sure what you're you're asking. If you clarify that, I can probably give you something better. Let's see. We've got Hobo de Clown. I don't know if that's it. It is all strung together. Andy, while you were talking through point number 9, let's make sure we've got the mixing and inertia one. I had an epiphany. Number 9 is never mixed, so you don't have any inertia. I'm going to turn my life into a project and use my BAPM skills to set and track goals and hold myself accountable. I love it. I'm glad. Do that. I cannot tell you how much better your products will be when you don't mix, how much faster you will get them done, and how much better you will become at gauging how long something's going to take you. The reason you all have trouble gauging, or anybody, let's say, has trouble gauging how long something's going to take is because you got too much mixture in the batter. It's true. You narrow the scope. I think here it's done. The thinking is done. The outline's done. The topic, the meat that needs to go on the bones is thought of. Now I go and mechanically put it together. That's separate. No mixing. AG, I'm assuming that means boot camper. Focus on my big interview today. Any tips to calm my nerves? So there are many ways to calm your nerves. Everything from, don't worry, everything works out the way it's supposed to. If you were meant to have this job, you will, right? That's one way of looking at it. I have faith that whoever shows up today is supposed to show up. There's, I don't know, about 100 of you left. I don't know how many came. Sure, 1,000's nice, but doesn't matter to me. I knew this was going to be a great show. All the way to I'm ready because I'm prepared, right? I've got my power stories. I understand the interviewers. I understand their goals, their problems, their whatever, or I can speculate what those will likely be. And I'm good for the role, and I think in those terms. But I have some calm your nerves videos on YouTube. You can also check those out. I would not worry. If you go to the Andy School of Interviewing, so you're ready to roll. And good luck. And can we give AG, my boot camper, a big live office hours hug and tell AG everything will be fine? Spire 103, is it? Thanks for investing yourself into these videos. Because of your perspective and tips, I switched jobs 2 years ago, and then my career became something I'm incredibly proud of. Spire, you have no idea how many times I'm going to rewatch me reading your message. I love it. I am so happy to hear that. Believe me, it matters. Spire, thank you for that. And congratulations, and I'm glad. And I've told you this before, y'all. When you email me at support@milewalk.com and you tell me, I don't care if you're in my paid programs, you just come to the live shows, or you checked me out on a recording, or you saw a TikTok, it makes no difference. And you send me a message like that, I save it. And about, I don't know, maybe about every other week, I go through that folder and I start clicking, like, because I can see, like, I can slide down the list and I can see your stuff pop up like this, and I glance and refresh my memory, and that gets me charged. It does. Thank you for that. That's a gift to me. Let me see. How are we doing on time? Okay. Hit me up. Wait, by the way, anything goes today. Ask me whatever you want. This is just a... What's this? It's an AMA. Ask me anything. Let's see. TPG Jess 71. I was laid off about 9 months ago. Sorry to hear that. There was no update on the reason except it's my management style. When I reiterate in my interviews since then, I find that it impacts my interview. Advice, please. I would... without knowing the whole situation, my natural inclination is I would not be sharing bad performance as the reason I was let go. I would try to figure out a different way to articulate this and point to anything that I could. I'm not saying I want you to flat out lie, But you sharing that is now what you're doing is you're signaling to the interviewer to anchor on that and look for reasons why that's valid. Does that make sense? So let me give you the opposites here. This is really, really important. And we're also going to talk about this next week. For all those of you that go to the Andy School of Resume Writing, you know there's a career profile that I have at the top that's a summary, then the highlights, then the professional work experience, and so on. And the reason I'm such a stickler for a good career profile, a summary, and a good career highlights is because it anchors the way that the reviewer looks at your resume. And once they see something, it's natural for them to want to justify what you said. Is that valid? Give me reasons. Yes, it is. When you're in an interview, same thing, because now I've seen the resume, and all I'm looking from you in an interview is, does she or he or they sound like this person? Does it sound like a person who could run a $5 million project that gained $10 million in benefits? Yeah, it sounds so. Good. Consistency, congruency. That makes sense. But now what happens is when you come in and you've altered what I'm thinking about you, because you're in an interview, so I'm assuming you're qualified. Now I'm looking for you to substantiate why you're good for us, and you're telling me that you were let go because of this. Now I'm going to be watching whatever you say and trying to justify that, and you're starting in a hole. So there's absolutely no doubt that if I use that as my rationale for why I was let go, the interviews are not going to go well, because you've reshaped the way they're looking at this. They're looking for clues. If that company spent time with you and let you go because of this, and they work with you every day, now I need to see the signs. And now you're going to make me look. You don't want to do that. So I can't give you an alternate answer because I don't know the whole scenario. But I would look for one. I really would. All right. TJ, what's up, buddy? I had 2 screening calls from recruiters. In both of them, they told me that the pay range was going to be lower than what was stated in the job description. Example, job description says the pay range was $80,000 to $120,000, but the recruiter told me the max pay was going to be $95,000. Do you have any advice on how to handle these situations, especially when one plans to target the higher end of the pay range? Okay, so TJ, the Andy School salary negotiation and the Andy School interviewing, you get in and go. So I, again, am never going to have a debate with somebody who could only say no but cannot say yes. And what do I mean specifically? You're talking to a recruiter. The recruiter's only job is to screen you and move you into the process. However, the recruiter's job is also to filter out people who are unqualified, or in many cases, people they don't think they can close. Okay? So that's what a recruiter's going to do. You don't want to give that recruiter any reason not to move you forward. And you have not given yourself any opportunity to prove your value, which you absolutely will not do in a screen. All you're going to do in a screen, the whole sole purpose for you in a screen is to get the recruiter to set the table for whoever's going to interview you first, so that the recruiter turns and says, this TJ McDonald hung the moon. He's awesome. You're going to love him. That's it. That's all you want, is set the table for me. Then you get in, and then you live up to the expectations that you've already, right, set for yourself, because you were the one who got the recruiter to say that. And don't worry about the 95. Then you get in and you show them why you're worth $95,000. We did a session, this woman yesterday, when I alluded to this in the earlier, about talking to her about the singular scenario, meaning it being more random. And then I said, well, you're planning, you're trying to plan for the exception. Don't do that. And so one of the things that was her goal in the session was, Andy, how do I sound more executive level so that I could justify my higher pay when I know the pays are lower? And simultaneously, how do I make sure that they choose me over the other candidates? So we went through the list of requirements that she needed to tackle. I'm still talking to you here, TJ, on this $95,000 thing. When I looked at what was going to separate her working knowledge of procurement, she's a buyer, of these particular types of services is rare. Meaning I found the spot that she needs to harp on. Okay, I said, when you get to this spot, you're going to ask them and you're going to explain to them all the problems they're going to have and all the nuances that go along with buying these services. I says, because you want to immediately grant all the other stuff that they could get anywhere. So what do I mean? And why am I telling you this in relation to compensation? So she's a buyer. And in buying means you need to set the strategy, buying strategy. You need to execute the buying strategy. You need to have relationship management skills with the stakeholders in the units within your company that you're going to work with in order to buy their products or services for them. You need to work with the vendors who you're going to evaluate and set the contracts up. Okay, all of these things, those things I just rattled off, I can walk out on my street and hit 20 people that can do that on my block. Okay? Right. None of that's going to separate her because everybody's going to be able to do that. True story. That's how tough it is. Okay, but there's this one thing that she's going to do that I guarantee she's going to be the only one that knows. And I need her to make that thing sound super, super hard. And there's reasons why you need to hire me because I know how to do this. And you are so screwed that you don't even know it because you're going to encounter all these problems that I'm now going to have a chance to introduce you, educate you on, and solve for you right here, which is going to elevate my standing because no one else is going to be able to do that. I already know this. She should win this job because of this. I can tell you that. So when you go in and they say the max pays $95,000, you have the whole interview process to figure out how you're going to show them that the application of your skill set and your wisdom and your experience is going to result in so much more money for them or whatever it is, a better environment, a better product, a better service, more political capital, better whatever, customer attraction, whatever it is you're going to do, to the degree to which you're going to do it because of what you know. And then you need to show them where the latent pain is and how you've already solved it. And that's what gets you paid not 120, but even higher. And so you have the whole process to do that. But a lot of you eject yourself from the process early. You never give yourself a chance to do this. And that's what interviewing is all about, is showing them how much value they're going to get as a result of hiring you. And you do that by asking them questions to get them to surface the information, to show them how exposed they are. And then you fill in, here's how I would do that. And I know why that will work because I did that over here. Or when I encountered that problem here. Or I've done this 20 times and we've encountered the problem every single time. That's how you do it. So a lot of you think you negotiate at the end. I'm negotiating from the get-go. And this, what I just told you in the story you're going to tell in the interviews, that's negotiation. That's showing them why you're worth more. This is hard stuff, right? But if you don't have a job coach who knows how to do this, then you get to the end and then they say 95,000. So answer one, you go. Tell them it sounds fine. You get in, you prove your value. You get down to the end, they say, the recruiter told you 95. Yeah, we live in a whole new world now. You know what I can do for you. I know your problems. These are much, much more complex than anybody you can get for 95,000. That's why I cost 130,000. So that's how you roll. That's how you roll. Don't give in. Don't throw the towel in. All right, Mrs. Lunatic. Need to send you many coworkers who have never job searched or it's been ages. Where's the best place for them to start? milewalkacademy.com. Live office hours here on Thursdays, a great place. And if you ever wonder anything like what to do, where's Andy have this? How can I find that? I'm interested in this or that. Support at milewalk.com. And Kara or I will answer you. And thank you for that. Ian, okay, maybe Ian, this is your follow-up. Ian, I'm looking for the term that politely says we had a SaaS support team members with vastly different skill sets, feeling a bit understaffed to a cohesive. Oh, did you move them into a cohesive, well-oiled team of equals pulling together? Follow up to this question. I'm trying to put an interview story together and trying to find the words to explain the dramatic disparity. Okay. What is it? I'm going to ask you a question. What is it that you're trying to convey? Because in an interview, do you know how I just got done saying, the woman I worked with, her name was Bo, where we were working through this stuff. And I said, she's a buyer, procurement. I call her a procurement guru, which makes her laugh, but that's what I want her to call herself. And there's like these 8 things that, I need to put the strategy, execute the plan, work with the stakeholders, evaluate the vendors, so on and so forth. All the mundane stuff that's just naturally part of the job. I'm not looking to try to highlight the fact that I pulled this team together. That's not going to win you the job. So I'm not overly stressing about how I need to convey this, because that is an afterthought in a story. The story needs to be more encompassing about the delivering of the value, because whoever gets hired for whatever job you're interviewing for what's not going to separate them is their ability to pull a team together and rally them. Because why? It's difficult for me to grasp that. It's esoteric. I won't feel anything. I'll assume everybody can do it. So I'm not sure, what to tell you here other than if you want to make a whole 3-minute, 5-minute story on this, I would go into the point of, we had this challenge because we had 10 people moving in 10 different directions. They let go the person before, and I was given the team to actually see about making them a cohesive unit. Then what I did was I basically had to do a diagnostic on what everybody was doing, where they were performing, why we were in chaos. And then I went into all the steps that make a well-oiled machine run like a well-oiled machine. This is the car technique, right? I'm running into, first thing I needed to do, evaluate the staff, evaluate the performance, evaluate whether they're in the right position, evaluate their area of expertise, learn their feedback language so I know how to communicate with them, set their development plans together, make sure the goals are all communicated to everybody so they know what we're working toward, educate everybody on how they fit in. And then you go through the steps. So I don't know there's a singular word for this. This is a whole story. But I'm only going with that story if they want to understand my management style, my leadership style, or a time where I was able to, if they ask you specifically about rallying this. This, by the way, is not a story I'm working. I'm working solution-based stories. I know a lot of you say, well, I want to elevate and I want to become a managerial resource. Telling great management stories isn't the way to do that. The people who are valued are the people who understand how to drive solutions. Management of people, while incredibly important, is an afterthought when it comes to interviewing. And yes, there will be somebody out there that will be solely obsessed with your ability to manage people because they had such a disaster person that they had to fire that person because everybody hated them. But that, again, is a rarity. It's not going to be common. So I hope that serves you. Hobo to clown. Speaking of layoffs, is being reduced in force looked negatively upon? I don't think so. Not really. So again, context. Hey, Andy, I was working in this division and there were 40 people on my team and my company decided to outsource it and move the organization overseas. So they let the 40 of us go. Okay, so what? Andy, I was on a team and there were 10 managers and they removed the managerial layer. I was one of the 10. No problem. Now, if you get into the surgical firing issue, that's different. But you said reduction in force. A RIF means multiple people. So the answer to your question is no, I don't think so. All right, fan of Andy. How do I ensure that I am not overpromising during an interview without truly knowing the real situations? This thought would never enter my mind because what you're ultimately trying to do in an interview is to get them to give you the scenario and then have you walk them through how you would go about it. Going back to Ian's question, if I'm Ian and I'm in an interview and they say, Ian, we needed to replace the manager of this 10-person team because there really was personality conflicts. The person was unorganized, didn't know how to get the most out of the people, treated everybody badly. If you were to take over this team, what would you do? He's going to go through the script I just gave him, right? And he's going to give him the mechanics. And this is what I did, boom, with this team. And so in your situation, whatever it is that you're highlighting for them, you're just walking them through, how would you build out this team? How would you open up this new region? And you're giving them the steps. And then you're asking them, what's in place right now? Here's where we would take it from here to here. I wouldn't worry too much about overpromising. I really wouldn't. And if you're talking about your history, that's never even an issue. But it's more about forward thinking and the solution you would provide or the approach you would take when you go into something new. You're asking them, what's it like now? Where are you? Here's what I would do. What's your goal, right? What are the challenges and all that good stuff? Cool? All right, folks. I have got to get running. I can't thank you enough for all the attention. Just real quick, grab the Zebra Code. Please join the book club, $1,000 of freebies. If you do join the Zebra Code, basically any book club, anybody who wants to join the leadership program, I'll give you $50 off the annual package. If you're already in the leadership program and you have not taken advantage of your $50 discount, you let Kara know at support@milewalk.com. We tack the discount onto your next renewal. Next week, everything is on special. So the job search coaching program, all the way on down to the resume workshop, the job search challenge, the interview program, the salary negotiation program, the point productivity programs, goal setting, career accelerator, everything's on special. If you got ants in your pants, which is totally fine, email Kara at support. She'll give you all the coupons. And she'll give you the coupon for anything that you want so that you can get it right away. Join me Thursday for the resume writing workshop. I'm on Fox. On Tuesday morning at 8:40 a.m. Central. If you want to catch me on the telly, I'll email you in the morning with my normal newsletter with the link. Hopefully they won't cancel it, but hopefully there's a lot of people that need help. So I think they'll go through with it. And then on Friday, I'm with the boot campers, and at 11 o'clock, we're going to do some role playing on storytelling, Q&A. That's on Zoom. If you got any questions, you know where to find us. Otherwise, everybody in the leadership program, I'll see you tomorrow on how your skills work in relation to your earning power. All right, y'all. Thank you much. Love you all. Be good. See you soon.